Your tone was a bit more hawkish than economists had expected, and you're raising the rate beyond 2020. What's the single biggest factor or factors that have changed?
Well, we did not change the rate at the present meeting, and our signal and interest rate policy rate forecast is that most likely it will stay close to the present level going forward. We're not hawkish, and we have not signaled any future increase either. Although it's true that if you take the path, if you evaluate the possible changes from the present level, it's correct that the likelihood for an increase is slightly higher than the opposite, to lower the rate. That's true. But the most likely path, as we see it, is that the policy rate will stay at the present level going forward.
But what made you slightly raise the rate path?
We haven't raised the rate path. It was you can compare the policy rate path now from the one that we presented in September, and they are not only very close, they are close. They are more or less the same.
The krone has recovered some of its losses from this fall. Has the krone weakness become a bigger or smaller factor?
The exchange rate, the krone, is always a very important channel. It's a very important variable. The exchange rate channel remains very important for monetary policy. And then it's a fact that the krone exchange rate has, in several quarters throughout many monetary policy reports, been weaker than we have seen at several occasions. And we have taken the consequences of that. This time, the krone starts out from a relatively weak level compared to what we had, say, a year ago. But we still believe that it will strengthen somewhat throughout the forecasting period. But if you compare the level of the krone that we now forecast with, say, the one we had 1 year back, the krone remains weaker than we previously forecasted.
Do you view the international context as less turbulent than a few months back?
Well, Norway is a small open economy, and we are very dependent on international growth and the international picture in general. There are still uncertainties out there. We believe, but then we follow events quite closely, of course, and there are some positive developments in the wage agreements and negotiations between the U.S. and China. The danger of having a hard Brexit is perhaps not any longer as high as it used to be, and so there are some positive developments that we have commented also, but there are still uncertainties internationally.
How helpful has it been as a central banker to be operating a country that hasn't had fiscal austerity? Norway stands out in that regard. So are there any lessons to learn from the mix of fiscal and monetary policy?
Well, admittedly, there's an advantage in many ways, also as regards the conduct of monetary policy, to have solid fiscal situation, and to have that room of maneuver as we have as a nation also in fiscal policy. And you can go back to the financial crisis and to the oil price fall in 2014 to document that. So that's also it affects monetary policy as well in a positive way. So it's easier here than for many other countries, obviously.